And what is up, guys? Welcome to the sprint. It is time to get our day started. I hope you guys are having an awesome Tuesday so far. And I was out yesterday. I was a little under the weather, but I'm feeling better today. And again, this is coming off of a very crazy weekend. You guys have already seen the drama in the political world kind of kicked it up a notch. The temperature went up high, and it was one of those situations where if you guys missed it, unfortunately, someone as stupid as can possibly be tried to assassinate President Trump. And again, it just led to, I think, so much clarity as far as how tough this political, chapter is right now, and how it is time to turn that dial down as far as trying to call people this and that and this and that. Like, it's one of those things where I'm just like, y'all, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And people who are laughing about that situation, if you're joking about that situation, it's one of those things where, you just need to take a step back and just think to yourself, is this something that is not divisive or not productive? Either way, I'm starting the day to show off with saying that my prayers have been strong for everybody, including the president and former President Donald Trump. My prayers have been strong for people, no matter what your belief system is. It's just one of those situations where we got to come together at the end of the day, y'all. And that's what we do right here on The Sprint. The Sprint is, again, a big time to take a break and a step back from that heavy news cycle, that big pressure that you always feel in your chest every time you turn the news on and you see some type of crazy destruction and violence and drama. Yeah, here we're all about trying to take just a quick little break from all that and just to smile, okay? So today's story, we're talking about this guy right here who kind of stepped in when he was needed. Law enforcement, again, coming in always. They never fail. They always come in a moment where you realize that, oh, snap, these people actually do put their lives on the line, or these people actually do step in when they're needed. Yeah, we're talking about an officer who used a gardening hose to help put out a fire of a woman's house. We're going to get into that later on in the sprint. But first, I do want to talk about this because this is actually my first day learning about this. Did you guys know there is something called a situationship? I can't even say it that well. A situationship, where when I looked at it, it basically sounds like you're not committed in a relationship, but apparently it's a thing. So check us out. It says that some are in the air, but not everyone knows where to stand with their romantic partner, okay? It says in the dating world, there's a popular term, they're calling it situationships. Cleveland Clinic psychologists say that other signs of situationships include inconsistent communication, minimal future planning, and a lack of growth. And it also says situationships can be fun, low pressure way to date while still remaining single. However, they don't work for everyone, which is understandable. But let's hear what a psychologist has to say, because apparently it takes this for us to realize that, oh, snap, you ain't being loved the way you need to be loved. But here's what she had to say.
If you find yourself in a situationship, you can take a pause and ask yourself, is this meeting my needs and creating joy? Or is it causing anxiety and confusion? Clear and open communication about your boundaries and expectations can help both parties to be on the same page.
That is so bizarre to me. Okay, so the survey from Cleveland Clinic found that 30% of today's generation would prefer to be in a situationship instead of a committed relationship. She believes that online dating may be playing a role since it gives you the flexibility and the freedom to meet multiple people at the same time. See, that's why we ain't got that many kids happening nowadays, because people are not committed to each other, and like I said, I am old school, call me old school, and granted, I get it, when you're doing all those apps and all that stuff, it's cool or it's easy to be able to walk away from a situation and be like, yo, I just don't feel like doing it. But again, I'm just all about the love. Like, one day when it happens for me, you best believe if I find out this person thinks that it's a situationship, I'm going to lose my marbles. Yeah, I don't too much care for that. And I just feel like that's just a easy way for people, in my opinion. If you're in a situationship, do you, boo? But for me, personally speaking, it's just a term that so-called makes it okay to cheat on one another. I don't know. I don't like it, but they give a term for everything nowadays. And if you're in a situationship and that's your float, that's what kind of floats your boat, go ahead with your bad self. I will respectfully decline to be a part of anything like that. Anyways, guys, I will be a part of some Amazon Prime Day deals, though. Get this, you got all the time today and tomorrow to get you some good deals in for the time. It's a 2-day summer sale, promises millions of deals from electronics and appliances to apparel and beauty products. Amazon's vice president has said the Prime Day helps celebrate the value of online retail giant, brings to members year-round. It also says, according to Amazon, customers saved $24 billion last year from the deals and coupons. So if you are all about the Amazon Prime thing, hey, man, jump right on it. I need a good projector. So if you guys got any recommendations, please send it my way because I would like to take advantage of these deals, man. The Salem Fair just wrapped up. I got my funnel cake the way I wanted, and it was very delicious. And I just finished my huge bag of cotton candy, so that was a success. But from the Ferris wheel to the fried foods, the fair is a family favorite, and now it is over, but it had a very successful ride. The Midway jam-packed most of the time. I know they did have to deal with some pop-up storms and heat and all that good stuff, but that did not stop the party. During WSLS night at the fair, nearly 2,000 pairs of socks were collected for discounted wristbands. Donations going to Rescue Mission of Roanoke and Mrs. Dorsey's Community Clothes Closet in Salem. So if you missed it this year or you're already looking forward to what next year is going to be about, apparently they got some preparations underway. Dates are set for July 2nd through the 13th. So it's going to be a good time. It's always a good time. And hey, you can't lose with the Salem Fair. You can't lose with a fair. As long as there's a funnel cake or that fair food that you like, you can't lose with that. And I got that, man. I came straight from my plane, went straight to the Salem Fair and got this really nice plump funnel cake and got me a big bag of cotton candy. It was just like, just so much joy. Either way, after the break, do not go anywhere, guys, because we're getting into not only a K9 unit who helped save this boy with autism. By the grace of God, we love those success stories, but it was because of this dog's instincts that he was able to find this baby. But then also we're going to talk about this police officer stepping in at the right time to help a woman save her life. And again, putting out a fire using a gardening hose. It's all caught on camera. That and so much more coming your way on The Sprint after the break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to The Sprint, guys. Let's get right into it. There's a rookie K9 credited with helping find a missing 6-year-old with autism. We all know those stories. Those stories are very, very kind of scary and devastating for those families in those moments, but this had a happy ending. Like any pump, Remy, a playful one, but when he puts on the harness, he's got a job to do. Sheriff's deputies say that a resident called 911 to report a child walking alone on a road. The child lives with autism and is also nonverbal, so he couldn't tell deputies where he lived, and that's when Remy was called to help.
They normally train them to start where the person was last seen and to go find that person. However, in this case, we're doing it in reverse order. So the dog is simply using that scent article, in this case the child's smell from his arms and the back of his neck, to track backwards to find that same smell inside of a home.
Love it, man. Her handler said that within moments, Remy was pulling him toward the right direction. Took her only 15 minutes for the boy to get the boy home and a half mile, where they found him wandering on the side of the road. Again, we all know how these stories can end in a not so happy ending, but this right here, it did just that. And it just shows you law enforcement, our dogs, everybody who's in that field, it is always helpful. And again, they save lives. It definitely does. And speaking of saving lives, we got this story for you right here, coming from a police officer going above and beyond to help a woman out. Check this out.
On doorbell camera, Fairfield police officer David Neal is caught in an act of kindness.
I was working fireworks patrol, so responding to fire calls and fireworks calls.
July 4th, a fire sparked on Sherwood Court, setting this backyard ablaze.
The winds that night were really strong in Fairfield, like they are, and I saw a ton of embers just flying through the air.
Across the street, those embers were landing on the roof of this house. So after realizing no one was home, Officer Neal jumped into action.
There's a garden hose right here. I'll grab a hose and start hosing off their roof.
Fast thinking to stop what he knew could easily start another fire.
Houses burn up so quick. I've seen it, in my career that, I just didn't want that to happen.
With a big thank you.
Of course. I so appreciate it.
Is the homeowner, Deborah Allen.
My house could have gone up, and it's very scary.
That night, she was out of town from the home she's lived in for 40 years.
It's very emotional. My husband passed away a few years ago, and all his stuff is in there, and that would have been the most important thing that I would have lost.
She says Neil went well beyond his duty.
He didn't have to do that, but he thought of saving, my house, and you just can't, there's just no words for that.
Her home spared, thanks to an officer in the right place at the right time who simply did the right thing.
I saw a need and just moved to the need and reacted like anybody else would, hopefully.
I absolutely love stories like that because, again, it just goes to show that they put their lives on the line. They step in whenever they need to and help. And, again, the right place at the right time. Ain't that right, Jazz?
Oh, yeah. That story was just absolutely heartwarming to me because, like she said, he didn't have to do that at all.
Right.
Him stepping in, his bravery, him jumping into action without even a second thought, it really prevented something disastrous from happening that could have flipped her life completely upside down. So I'm just really happy to see that he was completely selfless and did what he needed to do to help another woman, something that he didn't even have to do in the first place. So it's a nice thing to see.
Amen. And Jazz, okay, so that was a good story. The K-9 unit, Remy helping out the boy is a good story. The situationship, this is just something that I'm like, stop, y'all need to chill out.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's just very toxic and unhealthy. It's always one person who cares more than the other.
Right.
I feel like a lot of people go through that, especially those younger people. But yeah, it's something that can certainly be avoided. I just think it's just very toxic.
Yes.
Overall, but yeah, a lot of young people go through that, especially college students. Yeah, I think you gotta avoid it at all costs. But I think a lot of people go through it.
It's not worth it. And my thing is that if you find love, commit to that person, or at least if you're interested, stop playing around. And I think that's why you're still single, because people think you play too much. I feel like if people land on the person that they are pursuing, it would be a much happier situation than this stress-free, fun, quick, non-committal kind of thing. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah. I'm 100% with you.
No, Jazz, thank you so much, girl. All right, I'll talk to you later. All right, guys, so if you are a part of this whole situationship and that's what you want to do, again, like I said, more power to you, have fun. I just genuinely feel that you would probably be happier if you were with somebody who loved you just as hard and just as strong as you love them. We got to figure that out. But either way, guys, thank you so much for joining us on The Sprint today. You already know we are here to take a break from the heavy news cycle, and we're going to be back here again tomorrow to do the same thing tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. You guys have a blessed one, and I'll see you then on The Sprint.